Call the Town of Naples Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 in order. Can you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In attendance this evening, we have Jim Allen here, Martina Witz, Robert Fogg is here by Zoom, myself, Doug Bogdan, and we have Kathy Tombarelli, our municipal planner, and Kathy Eddy, assistant to code office and the municipal planner. Item 2A, do any board members have any conflicts of interest with anything brought before us tonight?
No.
Robert? No. Okay, so there's 4 no's. Item 3 is review of the meeting minutes from the February 17, 2026. And Martina, Robert, and I are here, so that's a quorum to approve those. Do you have any comments on the minutes from the 17th of February?
I had one small typo that I just pointed out to Kathy, so other than that, I'm supposed to say lot, and it said lost or something like that. Anyway,
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Robbie, you okay with that? Okay, so Martina made a motion to approve it with a typo correction, a second by Robert. All in favor? 3, Robert, yes? Okay, 3-0. All right, there's no old business, there's no table business, so we move to item 6, which is the public hearing, which is what we're here for tonight. So the board will receive public comments on the proposed ordinance changes. Copies of them are available online. And they're also available on the meeting and events actually online, and they're also available in the town office, right, at the planner's office, if anybody would like them to review. And they're going to be for the May 19th town meeting is when they'll be voted on. Are we going to hold another hearing after this, or?
They're actually going to be briefly on the agenda for March 9th. It's not a public hearing, but just to introduce kind of the final language to the select board. And then on March 23rd is the date that the warrant articles will be finalized. That's for budget, comp plan, and ordinances at that, and that's a select board meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. How this works, folks, is I'll read down, we'll take them one at a time, we'll read down them, and then we'll take any comments from the board and any comments from the public, okay? And if you're gonna speak, please step up to the podium for the microphone. Thank you very much. So we'll start off at number 1, that's a good place to start. It says new water skiing and slalom course standards. So this is new for us, so new definition is water ski slalom course. It's a series of slalom course buoys, flags, or markers set in a zigzag pattern or jumps that a skier navigates while being towed behind. While being towed behind a boat. And the new definition is of the slalom course marker buoys. They're typically spherical red skier entrance, turn, and exit gate buoys, and spherical yellow boat guide buoys used to mark the course for the skier and the boat operator. This is for new section, is that supposed to be 1.1 or just 11? Section 11, mooring and waterfront management ordinance. Number 1 is water ski slalom course. A, all courses shall be located in areas.
Shall not be located.
Shall not be.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's
all
important.
courses shall not be located in areas where there are known invasive plants or within 200 feet of invasive plants. B, no part of a water ski slalom course shall be within the water safety zone within 200 feet of any shoreline, unless authorized to do so by the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. C, all courses must be located in a minimum water depth of 15 feet to reduce sediments. That's a good word. Resuspension. Okay. D, thank you. All recreational and commercial courses must be inspected and permitted annually by the Naples Harbor Master. E, new commercial courses are required to obtain shoreline zoning permit from the planning board and a business permit from the town of Naples Select Board. Number 2, renumber sections 11 and 12 enforcement.
It just changes
Section 12
the number.
enforcement?
Yeah, it just changes
Okay.
Enforcement to number 12.
Okay, that's the reading of the new water skiing slalom course. Does anybody on the board have anything to add or discuss?
I have a couple of concerns. The word jumps in the definition is totally separate than its water ski course, and I feel like it should have its own definition. My other comment is under new commercial courses. There's no real definition of a commercial course. There's a definition of commercial, and then this new definition. And required to obtain a shoreline zoning permit from the planning board and a business permit from the Naples Select Board. I do not believe the planning board should be involved in this. It should be the harbor master and the select board for the business permit. And maybe even inland fish and wildlife, but I don't believe the planning board should be involved.
So
That's all I have for
we
that.
take those one at a time, Jimmy?
Sure.
I can't help but ask and wonder why you couldn't have brought this up before. The ordinance review committee's been working on this for about 5-6 weeks.
Because I didn't know about it. Sorry. That's the truth. I've been busy.
Well, that says a lot right there. So I should also say that the ordinance review committee consulted with Lakes Environmental Association to come up with these definitions and this ordinance, because this greatly affects what everyone is trying to achieve in that we're trying to limit and mitigate the spread of milfoil.
Which I'm 100% in favor of.
Right, but we're on a deadline here. We need to get this finalized so that we can vote on this in May, so this can have some impact this summer.
Sure.
Specifically because of what's occurring in Sebago Cove. So you're saying that, what is the issue you have with having jumps as part of the new definition?
A jump is a little bit different than a slalom course.
Well, it's still requiring some sort of apparatus to be in the water, so the whole
Correct.
point is to keep it away from a milfoil field. If you look at it from that perspective, that's what this is supposed to be doing. It's keeping this type of activity out of a known infested milfoil area.
Totally agree.
So I'm not really sure what difference it makes that you, because a jump can be part of the water slalom. Pardon me?
About jump slash, they're both covered.
Well, it says or jumps. It does say or. So I'm,
And maybe the inverse
Oh,
question,
hold on.
are there jumps that
Hold on, you guys,
should
hold on. First, the board will have discussion, then you guys can have a chance, okay? Thank you.
so, and what was your other issue with the?
I think he suggested to have a separate definition for jumps.
Yeah,
Is that
just
what
a
you're
separate
saying?
definition.
Because it's not really, because we added that after, if you remember, because someone had a comment, they were worried about jumps. But the definition of water ski slalom course is exactly what's written there, minus the jumps and the state, I pulled this from either state language or somewhere else. So could jumps be pulled out? Or do we need to deal with jumps at all right now? Are
Well, then
people
we need
using
an
jumps?
entire other thing,
Yeah.
because the whole section then is water ski slalom course. So if you're making jumps something separate, then we need another whole section on that, don't we?
Or do we need to have it at all? Is this something that's happening in Sebago Cove? Are people doing jumps in Sebago Cove? So I feel like that's probably something we could deal with at a later time if it were an issue, but I don't think you have the speed. I don't know, I don't live there, but it just doesn't seem like it's something that's happening or occurring now.
Well, are we
It probably
setting
isn't,
ourselves
but
up?
I look at these ordinances, as I always have said, where there's holes in them, okay? And there's a little bit of a hole here, not as big as some, but that's okay. I just wanted to bring it up.
I get the fact that a jump isn't necessarily a water ski slalom course, right? It's kind of a separate.
But it could be part of one.
It could be.
I think that's why we added it in the first
It's ultimately up to you
place.
three. I'm just adding.
Is Robert still
comments.
here?
No,
Yeah,
Robert
Robert checked out.
checked out.
So if we took it out, I think you're developing the whole, because now you're leaving a possibility where someone just creates a bunch of jumps in a water milfoil area.
All right, we can leave it in and then readdress a definition later for it.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with
Pull it
that.
out.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
pull
just,
it out later.
I'm
if it
pointing out
becomes an
where I
issue.
think I might see a hole.
And then 1E.
Because you could just add
Yeah.
ski jump or water jump in a definition and somewhere else in the ordinances.
How do you define a jump, though? I mean, a jump is a jump, right? It's like I'm trying to
It's not
think
the
of.
same.
If we need
It's totally different definition.
Yeah, if we need a definition for it, it doesn't necessarily have to be right here. You just need to add it in someplace.
And the only reason I know this is because I grew up with a slalom
Yeah.
course in front of my house.
Yeah.
You'd want to change the word to ramp. That's what launches the jumpers.
Not bad, Eric.
Completely different.
Or ramps.
Or ramps.
Jump/ramp.
So we're adding more words, but we're keeping them in. I guess that, because you started off by saying you wanted to remove it completely. So now we're just using a different word, but we're still
I'm willing
leaving
to
it.
bend.
So are we adding jumps or ramps, or are we removing jumps?
I would say or jump/ramps.
Let's hear what the public says when we get through this, because they might know more than we do, to be honest with you. I just know that jumps wasn't part of the original definition, that was added later.
What was the
Based on
other?
a comment that we had at ORC.
Okay.
And then the second one was 1E.
See,
And what you're saying is that the part about obtaining a shoreline permit, zoning permit from the planning board, striking that part.
Yes, and adding harbor master and/or inland fish and wildlife.
I don't think we should involve inland fish and wildlife because they've already made it clear that they don't care. So I don't really want to go down that path.
And that's okay too.
And as far as the planning board on here, I think that's because we also have authority over docks over a certain size. I think that's why that was added in there, but I'm not sure that it,
I'm gonna express my personal opinion. I would love to not have that in the planning board, not because it creates more work for me,
Yeah.
but it's just not really our area of expertise.
Right.
Right? It feels like it
well, it
should
does,
fall-
I mean, I think, like I said, I think it's in here because we do docks over a
Docks.
certain size.
Yeah.
And other structures in the shoreland zone
Right.
that aren't homes, but
Right.
other kinds of commercial structures in the shoreland zone come to planning board.
Right.
So that's why it's in here.
I think that's why it's in there. I think that at some point in the near future, we're probably gonna be looking at the marine safety ordinance and maybe redistributing some of the responsibilities in that too, as well. I just don't know what value coming to the planning board has for a shoreline zoning permit for a course. I mean, what are we even going to discuss other than it's not in the milfoil area? Well, the harbor master can determine that.
Right.
That's just my thought.
I mean, he's already indeed inspecting him and giving a permit for it.
Right.
Right, but he adds is the Naples business permit, which if it's a commercial, I think that it should have a business permit if it's
Sure.
a commercial.
Well, and I think that's why it has planning board in there, because planning board does anything that's commercial in the shoreland zone.
So
The
you're
only-
trying to mirror
Yeah,
what's on
I
the
think that's
books
why
now.
it's in there. That's code enforcement and all that just happens in shoreland zone if it's private, if
Commercial,
it's a
it says
residence.
that. Well, so again, it's up to you guys, I'm just putting my 2 cents worth in. It already went through ORC, and we already have discussed this a lot, but I'd love, maybe we can hear from the public as well on those 2 items. I'm Switzerland, I can make it work either way.
Okay,
I'm good.
all right, Martina?
Yeah, I just want to say that all of these ordinances as presented here tonight were 100% mutually agreed upon by the Ordinance Review Committee. We came to consensus on every single one of these. Even though we didn't always start that way, we ended up that way. So these represent a consensus of all the people on that committee.
Okay. Anyone from the public want to speak on item one for the skiing slalom courses?
No, we're good.
If you do, just come up to the podium.
Yep. Yes, sir, come on, just come on up. Just gotta let us know who you are, and
Hi.
most of that is because that way they can hear you on the
Hi.
TV.
Hi.
Katie Blank. I live on the Cove. And I just wanted to really support this and really urge you all to get this in front of us to vote on. and support, because I think you're going to have a ton of support, not just from people living here, but some of the other agencies out there that want to see us help save Sebago and get rid of not just the cove, but Sebago, to keep the milfoil from spreading. And we're spending a lot of money trying to do that too. So I just wanted to say, please, guys.
Oh, absolutely, I think this needs to go. I just saw 2 holes in it, and that's, I
I'm
wanted to
good
bring
with
them up.
putting, cement in holes.
Is everybody, can I ask a question? Is everybody that's here primarily for this Sebago Cove thing? And you're all in support of this? There's about maybe 15, 16 people here. I might make a note of that in the record that are in support of this ordinance. Thanks.
Okay. Sir, do you have something else to say? Oh, okay.
Because it's a miserable night and they all came.
Eric Colby, 129 Gore Road, marine journalist for 40 years. So we've got a slalom course in our cove. We have milfoil. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but when the type of boat that they use for slalom skiing, what would you say? The prop is what, a foot or 2 under the boat?
Oh, yeah, it's drawing 3 feet.
Yeah. So that's perfect depth for just chopping up milfoil at 3,000 or 4,000 RPM and spreading it everywhere. And as soon as you release that stuff, it goes wherever it wants. It's my understanding that the people who run this ski club have been asked nicely, cooperatively, to move it to another location, and they refuse.
I heard the same thing.
The other thing is, if this ski club has a paying membership and none of the operators of the boats are licensed captains, they're now breaking the law because they're ferrying people for a fee without a captain's license. So we see them doing that. We're going to call the wardens every time they're out there if they don't move. We don't want to do that, but we've asked nice and they're not cooperating. So I really hope you pass this.
Just so you know, to clarify your point, you're right. But they can also have a Maine guide's license, and that covers them.
Yeah, but one of the two. And if I had to guess, and we asked, they probably don't.
Well, the state did away with the inland captain's license about 4 years ago.
The state did?
Yeah.
Well, the Coast Guard just gave me one last year. Inland restriction, 25 tons.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we want to make any changes now to
One
the
up.
commercial thing?
Nate Curtis, I also live on the Cove. To your concern about jump, if you want to add words or add additional restrictions, I'd certainly support that. If you want to take it out, I suppose I'd ask, is there a jump that would be navigated by a skier being pulled by a boat that you think should be in an invasive area, that we should be carving out or
Should never
making
be
out
in
as the
an
whole?
invasive area.
So,
I mean, see all my check marks next to this? I agree with everything in here except the word jump in there without a definition and the planning board.
But that would be my point of.
And I'm not even really
of-
sure I disagree with that.
Yeah, that's my concern about jump without a definition. If you add a definition and limitations, I suppose I would ask what that would satisfy any version of a definition of jump that a skier would be dragged behind a boat should be in those areas that this is
Absolutely.
controlling. And to the extent there's nothing we can think that we want to carve out, I'm not seeing what word.
Like I said earlier, I'm willing to
leave.
leave this in there as long as they add the definition later.
If one's needed, if there's something that should be allowed there. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Janet Granfield, live on Beach Road on the Cove, and just wanted to take a moment to thank all the work you've done to consider this ordinance. For the first time in the last couple of years, all the association and property owners around the Cove have actually come and worked together in order to raise the money to eradicate the milfoil the best we can. A lot of work has been done, especially by Joanne Brown and the others that are all here. I don't know everybody's name. And LEA's been very cooperative, but we're continuing to work. We've raised more money to go back in there and clean, and this group just doesn't care. In fact, if we have young ones over there fishing when they come out in the morning, which isn't too often because they show up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they stay, they'll boot them out. They'll do everything they can to get them out of their way. If you're trying to go back and forth to tune your boat to try to figure something else out and you're making waves, they've been aggressive to my husband and I about being in their area when they're skiing. So they just need to go to a better place until we can get rid of this milfoil. And it's a shallow cove. I mean, towards the end of the summer, they're not in the channel, and it's not more deep, 4 feet, 5 feet if you're lucky. I don't think it's ever been more than 7 feet outside the channel, and the channel's not big. But I do appreciate the work you put into this, and really hope that it will work out for us and for eradicating the milfoil. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jane Dyer. I live on Beach Road. Martina had made a comment about hopefully getting this passed by April, which would be really great because right now that the boats aren't there, everything's quiet. There's no more breakage. We caught all of it when New England milfoil was here. If the boat is allowed to go in this year, we'd have to start all over again. But right now, there's not little pieces floating around. It's really easy to contain. And when we have New England milfoil come in, they're not going to be trying to get little pieces, and little pieces are going to be grown. So right now would be a very fresh start if we could start it this year.
And I'm 100% on your side for that.
Thank you.
And it would be May, that's when the vote is, not fortunately not April, May.
May I add something? Oh, let them go first, please.
I just have one question. My name is Paul Germain. I live at 310 Gore Road. Does this have to go to the select meeting, town meeting, to get approved on the 19th of May?
Yes.
Yes.
All ordinance changes in a town meeting form of government.
What happens if he puts these buoys in before that? What happens?
There's nothing.
I don't know.
The only way you could probably stop that is a moratorium.
Great.
Or the harbor master can have them take them out.
Because May 19th, he can put them in, he can put those buoys in early.
Just as soon as the ice is out.
Yeah.
By law, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
he can.
Or lack thereof.
Ice out is before vote, yeah.
Yeah, so we can't move any faster because of the public hearing and the notification process, and it has to go to town meeting. So that's the quickest that we can move. I can ask about moratorium and see what that means, but we can't move any faster than that. We're moving as fast as we can right now.
Yeah.
Is there any way of putting some milfoil buoys up there, restricted area or something, so we can't go in there?
Get LEA to do it.
I think, well, Morgan's here, but I don't think that's that simple, Morgan, right? You can't just go out and put restrictive navigational buoys in a milfoil area. That's the state has to sign off on that.
State has to do that?
Yeah.
All right, so if he puts these in, he's in for the year before it's voted on?
Well, no, he's not in for the year. I mean, if this passes, which I'm hoping and assuming it will.
Oh, then he has to take them out.
The harbor master has the authority to enforce it, so he can make him take it out.
He can take them out?
And then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not in for the year,
Yeah.
but if we could do a moratorium, not we, the select
ask
board
the
has to
select
do
board
that,
to
it's
do
not
that.
us.
Yeah,
So could we ask them that at their next
I
meeting?
can ask them that.
Yeah.
okay. That's it.
Just to clarify, Joanne Brown, Beach Road. LEA and I, we met with them last year, and the course goes in the very beginning of May.
I was sitting there wondering the
Yeah.
same thing.
Hello,
Hi.
Morgan Cross, and I'm representing Lakes Environmental Association tonight. I just wanted to come up and let you guys know if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We did help out with a lot of the language for this, so.
I'm sorry, could you speak up a little?
Yeah.
We can't hear over here,
Hey, guys. Can you guys hold on
Can't hear.
so we can hear this one talking? Thank you.
That's okay. Morgan Cross, work for Lakes Environmental Association. I'm the manager of the milfoil control program. And any questions you guys have, we did go out with Joanne and the water ski course owners and do a very thorough in-the-water survey similar to the ones we do for the aquatic plant ordinance. Our findings were essentially that there's a lot of milfoil in the course, and we do have those if you guys are interested in seeing the results, but that's pretty much the sum of it. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to do my best to answer them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a thought, I think jumps and ramps are pretty self-explanatory, so having a separate definition, I don't know if that's really needed. So I think doing zigzag pattern or jumps and ramps, adding ramps in, just to make it clear, because I could see that someone could argue that one's a ramp and one's a jump. So I think that would cover that. And I don't think it's too far and keep away from what the ordinance review committee recommended. We're just adding a word. And then as far as the planning board part, I hear what Martina's saying. It does mimic the current ordinance that's in place for commercial docks. And so keeping it in the planning board, that's something that we can discuss if we do a more comprehensive update of the marine waterfront management ordinance in the future. So I think probably leaving 1E makes sense right now. It's what the ordinance review committee discussed and voted on. But I do like the idea of adding the word ramps that I heard out there, just to make sure that all bases are covered. Thoughts? I'm open, but like I said, I'm open to leaving it as is, or it's up to you three to make your recommendation.
I'm good with it.
As I said.
What you just said, yeah.
All right.
And we are doing it for docks, so.
All right, so I will change that for the March 9th meeting by adding the words "and ramps."
Yeah.
If you want me to go through these, you want to vote on them as each time we go through them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay. So, go ahead, Jim.
I make a motion that we,
One question, would it be and ramps or ramps for the?
or ramps.
Or ramps.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask that.
I'll just put it or jumps, comma, or ramps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we know if the current
Yep.
course is more than 200 feet off the opposite shore?
Can you come up to the mic, please?
Okay.
By state law, it can't be within 200 feet unless Inland Fish and Wildlife overrules it.
Right, so I mean, we know they're 200 feet off our side where we launch our boats, but do we know if the course is 200 feet off the opposite bank?
It can't be within 200 feet of any shore. By
Right, so
law.
I'm just asking if people who've been around long,
It's closer to the other shore, it is closer to that shore, yeah.
has anyone measured it?
I can tell just by looking at it, because I play golf, so.
Well, that's kind of like saying you can run fast in
No, see,
4-foot waves when you
It's moved
can't.
way away because of the mooring fields that
Yeah.
are there. It's on that, it's pushed towards the other shore. And that's the side that the milfoil is really bad.
So this would be on the west shore of,
Yes,
Yes.
that's the west shore, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just wondering
So
if
there you
anyone's
go.
taken a measurement there.
that is where
Because if
most
it's-
of the milfoil
Because
is.
if it's within 200 feet, it can't be there anyway. Because you're supposed to be no wake within 200 feet of shore.
Correct.
And even though it's a slalom boat, it's still throwing a wake.
Yep, and then if this passes, then I think the harbor master could refuse that and we could refuse that because it's not within 200 feet.
Okay.
Or it's within
I think
200
they can do
feet.
that either way, if it's not within 200 feet.
It sounds like you
Whether or
can.
not the ordinance was passed or not, if it's within 200 feet, it's not allowed.
Still isn't allowed.
Right.
I mean,
Okay,
but-
just
So
wanted
it's
to-
not- so you could be potentially breaking two laws, the
Right.
safety zone, and then if we pass this, then the milfoil.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get the question on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the third one, because it's not 15 feet deep.
Yeah.
which would, only comes into play if this passes too.
In the
Yeah.
spring.
And that just makes sense because that comes in under the same wakeboard boat laws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a quick question. Dee Dee Dusso, Beach Road. This is my first interaction with town government. This is great.
It is great, thank you for being here.
Can you give me a little lesson on the process? I know there's a vote in May. Is that the end decision? There's no public coming to do a ballot?
Well, that's a
Well,
ballot.
that is a ballot.
That is a
What
ballot.
will happen is this public meeting that happens here, we get input from people. There's been the ordinance review committee have written the ordinance, correct, Martina, right?
Yeah.
So they wrote the ordinance with a lot of input, and then it comes before a public hearing, so everybody who wasn't involved in the writing of it can come and speak on it. And then the board either recommends it for moving forward, or it doesn't. And then it goes to the public meeting, and then town meeting, we all hold up our hand or our little flag or our little clicker, whatever we have, to vote on it in a public meeting. So it depends on how they conduct the meeting. Sometimes it's like you hold up a purple piece of paper, or other times it's a clicker and it's kind of a
I think
secret
we share the
ballot.
clickers with
And
council.
the last one at the select board meeting, we all held up a piece of paper the last emergency one they had or something a couple weeks ago. So that's how it gets voted on, then either passes or it doesn't pass. So
Well, I
if you
think
wanted
this
to,
is
if
going
you
to be
wanted to
done on the
pass.
ballot, though. This is
Okay.
going to
I
be
think it's
done on
done in the
ballot.
ballot.
So if you wanted to pass.
So we're coming back in May, is what you're saying?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. That's when you get to vote on it.
So follow up. So next Monday, it
Yes.
goes to the select board.
It's going to the select board, but it's not a public hearing. It is just, there's one that I have just did some new edits to, so they haven't seen it before. So to back up a little bit on what he said, every 6 months, we really come up with a new, we don't come up with what we want to do. We make recommendations, the ORC, to the select board, and we say, we would like to work on these ordinance, and they give us the thumbs up or thumbs down. They set policy, not the ORC, not the planning board. The policy is set by the select board. So the select board is already aware of these ordinances, they've already seen them once already, and they gave us the thumbs up to finish these. So what's happening on May 9th, to your question, is these are
March
coming.
9th?
March, I'm sorry, March 9th. These are coming back to them with all the edits that have happened, if there's any. We just have one, coming back with the edits, and then that will be on the March 9th. And then on the next meeting, March 23rd, we were hoping that March 9th would be the warrant, but the budget isn't done yet. They're still working on the budget. So the warrant's gonna be finalized on March 23rd, and that's where they will have the warrant language for each of these changes in the ordinance. Also, the budget warrant articles, and also the warrant article for the comp plan to be accepted. And that's all gonna be on March 23rd. Would have been nice if it could have been March 9th, but it just didn't work from a timings perspective because of everything. So you may still have an opportunity to talk on March 9th, but I will be presenting, because they usually have an opportunity for 3 minutes of public comment in every select board meeting. But it will be me, and if Martina or someone's available from the ORC, will be there on the 9th to explain any questions they may have.
So would it be wise for us to be here on March 9th in case the select board has questions?
I don't think it's gonna be an issue, because by the time we get to that, it's already a warrant article. They've already moved it kind of forward to that. We're just looking at warrant articles at that point. I don't think that, I don't anticipate, after seeing them again on March 9th, that anything's gonna change. You can request a Zoom link for that meeting if you want to do that.
Not with me.
Not
That
with
would-
her.
Select
That's
select board is
board.
Katrina.
Oh, Katrina.
She's the town manager's assistant. I support the planning board.
Okay. And then, so, I'm sorry, so
That's
you,
okay.
Doug, you mentioned something about it going for a vote with clickers or raise of hands or
It's going
something
to
like
actually be
that.
on the
On a
ballot.
ballot.
Be a ballot.
Okay,
A ballot.
a ballot
Municipal
for
election.
the people, the residents of Naples, or
Correct.
just a ballot for?
Registered voters.
Registered voters.
For registered voters.
They'll be
And-
voting on select, the open seats for any committee that happens. They'll be voting on these ordinances. They'll be voting on the comp plan, budget.
And the school budget.
Yeah. And the school
And
budget.
that will take place on May 19th.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the decision to have it done that way is because more people get an opportunity to vote. There'll be a higher turnout at that because of the school budget and the other things that are on there. So May 19th,
Okay,
secret ballot.
okay.
I make a recommendation that the planning board approve the new definition for water ski slalom course, the new definition for slalom course marker buoys, and new section 11 water ski slalom course to be put as part of the mooring and waterfront management ordinance.
Second.
And motion's been made to move this forward because we don't approve it.
No, we do. The section
I thought
107
we
says,
did.
following the public hearing, the
Okay.
planning board shall recommend approval or denial.
Okay.
So my motion is to
Is to
recommend
it.
approval.
Jim second it. Any other discussion on it? All in favor? 3-0 to move it. Thank you.
You're all welcome to stay, but it may not be as interesting.
It's fascinating.
Excuse me, number 2 is a new ordinance, right?
It's a new definition, and
definition?
then it's not going to
Okay.
be listed as an allowed use.
For battery energy storage system facility definition. So new definition is battery energy storage system, BESS, okay? facility, a building or site that uses a chemical process for absorbing energy and storing it for a period of time for the use at a later time, including but not limited to lithium-ion batteries. And it's not going to be allowed in any zoning districts.
So, Mr. Chair, as part of this, when the Ordinance Review Committee brought this up, as you know, our ordinances are currently written that something that's not permitted, that's not listed as permitted is not permitted. And we don't even have a definition for this, but there was a concern that perhaps this could be skirted in as a light industrial use, and that's why we all agreed that to define it and then not to list it as a permitted use would be a way to guarantee that it can't happen in Naples.
And it has nothing to do with solar arrays or solar projects on people's houses?
No, not at all.
Okay.
These are standalone large facilities.
I'm good with that.
I think if you look up, there's one that's recently was built in Gorham. These are huge, several acre facilities just with batteries, filled with lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, so the goal is to allow us time to look at it in more in depth, really. It may change, things might change, the battery technology changes all the time.
Right.
So it may not be not appropriate at a later date, but for right now, we just want to have a definition and not allow it to go under a commercial use or an industrial use.
Yeah, because when they burn hot.
That's the
that was
issue.
the primary thing.
That's one of the issues, and we also don't have the capacity in our fire department to take care of one of those types
And they
of fires.
contaminate the water because they're
Absolutely.
filled with lithium-ion batteries.
So that could change as battery technology changes, and we can revisit it, but for right now, they're not gonna allow it in any, they're recommending not to allow it in any zoning district.
Okay, anyone from the public want to speak on that? No? Okay, thank you.
I make a motion that the planning board recommend to pass this as written.
Second.
Okay, the motion to pass it is written and second. All in favor? 3-0, thank you. Item 3, number 3 is we're going to amend the food sovereignty ordinance update. Food or food, it says food or food products means food or food products that are grown, produced, processed, or prepared for human consumption, including but not limited to vegetables, fruit, eggs, grain products, herbs, seasonings or spices, milk or milk products, meat or meat products, poultry or poultry products, fish or fish products, seafood or seafood products, cider or juice, acidified foods, canned foods, or vegetables. And are we adding honey nuts? Is that what the red
Yes,
is?
we're adding honey
We're
nuts, maple products, or condiments as part of the sovereignty,
Okay.
but does not include prepared foods, and that's really the key. I think we just wanted to find a way to make sure that people had access to these types of foods, as people produce them or whatever, or grew them, but wanted to make sure that it did not include prepared foods because that should be under an inspection type of situation where these other foods do not have to be under an inspection, health inspection situation.
Then my only question is, should we strike the word prepared further on up? Where it says that are grown, produced, processed, or prepared for human consumption?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Yeah.
Which deviates from the state definition, because the state definition is basically verbatim until you get to, they've added honey nuts, maple products, or condiments, period. But if the goal is to not, what we commonly get asked for is prepared like cooked things, only they're selling it cold, or cookies or stuff like that. And that's where you're starting to get into the area where it feels like that there should be an inspection for a kitchen or something of that nature. So if we struck prepared, and processed is appropriate because you're gonna process maple syrup to some extent. You're gonna process honey to some but you're not preparing maple, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It feels like stripe it, yeah.
You're not taking lobster meat, mixing it with mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, you make it a sandwich,
putting
a
them out in the
lobster
sun.
roll, and putting it on the side of the road, exactly. Which also competes against brick and mortar as well. It's a different product, it feels like to me. So if we
So strike prepared, that makes
so
sense.
or prepared,
Grown, produced, or processed,
or human, yeah,
and eliminate or prepared.
yeah. That's a good catch.
So we'll do each of these separately, so I'll make a motion to approve this proposed change to amend
Anybody
the
from the public?
Ford sovereignty ordinance.
Anyone from the public have anything to say? Okay. Then we'll go with Martina approve the change.
Second.
Right. By Jim, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, 3-0. We're going to amend and add to the mixed-use allowance in the commercial zone. 503B, add mixed use to list of allowed uses in the commercial zone. That's,
Absolutely
Yeah.
believe this is the right thing to do.
So for the benefit of the public, I just want to explain it just really quickly, and I know we want to get out here as quick as we can tonight, but mixed use, there's always a lot of confusion with this. Mixed use is an actual use classification, which allows for a residential use and a commercial use to be on the same lot or in the same building or in separate buildings, but on the same lot. If you don't have this, then you would need 40,000 square feet per use. So if you wanted to do a residential use and a commercial use, you would need 80,000 square feet. By doing this, you only need the 40,000 square feet to have both those uses on one parcel. And we have numerous examples of those in the commercial zone. A lot of towns did this because they wanted to only have commercial uses in the commercial district, so they didn't want to allow residential uses, so they didn't allow mixed use. The world has changed, there's not too many people that have offices anymore, so this allows people more flexibility with their property, so if they've got multiple units, they can have a residential use and a commercial use in the same lot or structure. It just seems like it makes sense to me, and there's numerous ones that already exist.
Can I make a motion?
anybody from the public? Just have to go through the formality. Go ahead, Jim.
Make a motion that the planning board recommend to pass this, amend and add mixed use allowed in the commercial zone.
Second.
Motion in the second, all in favor? 3-0. Okay. Move on to 5. So this is a new one for farm stand language. The new definition of a farm stand is a roadside stand not exceeding 200 square feet in floor area, selling only farm, garden, greenhouse, or nursery products, cut Christmas trees, garlands, wreaths, and wreath material. Farm stand in the associated parking area cannot be located in the right-of-way. A farm stand cannot sell alcohol or cannabis in any form for medical or recreational use. And add farm stands to allowed uses in the rural District 5041 and critical rural 5042 zoning districts.
So this is a new definition. We've never had a definition for farm stand, and I think it came up out of people asking in the code office if they could have a farm stand. So we're defining it, limiting it its space, so it's not interfering with anything, and then saying that it's going to be permitted in the rural and the critical rural zones.
Yeah, we had multiple, we've had at least 3 or 4 people in the year and a half that have been here and called to ask if they have a farm stand. Can have a farm stand because we don't have a definition or a use for the farm stand. The answer is no, based on our ordinance language. If it's not explicitly allowed, it's prohibited. So we just wanted to allow this, and this has a close connection to the food sovereignty ordinance, and then a lot of people grow food or make honey or whatever, they want a place to sell it, right? So that's why we added this definition.
I'll make a motion when you're ready.
Motion second. Martina second, okay. Any more discussion? Anyone from the public? Okay. Any more discussion? Okay. Vote to approve, move forward, 3-0, thank you. 6 is amend chapter 700 of the sign ordinance language, the sign ordinance update. New table, the table defines the allowable sign types in sizes in district P, by district. P designates the permitted sign within a specific district. N designates signs that are not permitted. Table 1.1, sign type permitted by district, and then there's a table that you can review after that.
So the entire table, Mr. Chair, was created out of the existing sign ordinance, and then we added residential and rural to the table based on the new residential and rural district sign standards in the text. This came about because, again, somebody came into town and they wanted to have a contractor's yard which is a permitted use in the rural zone.
Correct.
And it appeared, we didn't have any place in our ordinance where we talked about signs in the rural zone. So we developed this residential and rural district sign standards based largely on what is in the village district, and a little tighter in a few places, because we were thinking that that residential and rural should probably be a little stricter than village, but based on village, because village, we were already trying to make sure that we weren't having offensive signs or, garish signs or something like that, so.
I love the table.
That was Kathy's idea, but I created it, so.
Yeah, that's
Her idea, but.
Yeah, it just
from
makes
use
it
of another,
easier, so
yeah.
people can just look at a table.
Yeah.
They want to know what they can have.
Yeah.
And this came up because the code officer has lots of times has home occupations in the rural, or we don't have critical rural yet, but it's a district that's been named in our ordinance, in the rural district, and he has no guidance on what they can have in that. So it's just a hole in the sign ordinance that we're hoping to fill. Martina, one thing that I did change since the last time you saw it.
Yeah.
I changed I remember on the section, section 712, residential and rural district sign standards.
Yep.
And I was gonna put critical rural and rural. I decided not to do that in case we add more zone, as part of the comp plan.
Okay.
We might end up having more rural or residential districts are named differently. So I kept it generic, and then in the text, everywhere you put freestanding signs within a rural zoning district, I added rural, residential or rural district
Okay.
throughout. But I wanted to keep it generic because who knows what comes after the comp plan. Maybe we have different names for residential and rural districts. But other than that, there's no anything that has any meaning to it, to a change.
I'm good with these changes.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion if you want.
Second, did he motion?
Yep.
Approve? Yep, I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to move forward the amended changes to chapter 700, the sign ordinance update. Anyone from the public? Nope. Okay, all in favor? 3-0. We're going to go to number 7. We're going to amend the marijuana ordinance.
There's a typo in here I'd like to change.
Okay, it says, change all references to marijuana and cannabis in the existing ordinance to match state language. And under that says, add new 614.4 adult use recreational cannabis stores and caregiver medical retail stores, testing facilities, and manufacturing facilities are prohibited in all zoning districts. What's the typo, Jim?
It is change all references from marijuana to cannabis in the
Yes.
existing ordinance to match state language.
Thank you. Perfect.
I read it just like it was printed. Excuse me, and I didn't see that.
And for clarification on this doesn't change anything in the current ordinance that we have.
Yeah.
The only thing that it's doing is, if someone is interested in doing cannabis of any nature, they're gonna go to this section 614, and that's where they're gonna look. They're not gonna go to each zoning district and look. So all this is making it clear that basically the only thing that we do allow is registered caregivers and registered caregiver medical cultivation facilities. Those are still allowed, they're allowed right now, those are the ones that we're required to allow by the state, so nothing is changing. It's just making it clear in the medical cannabis registered caregivers section that these other uses aren't allowed. It makes it easier on staff because someone that's interested is gonna read that and say, oh, that can't do that here.
Yeah. Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, thank you. So we'll take a motion to,
Make a motion to approve the changes to amend the marijuana ordinance to reference cannabis and to add the new, are those definitions actually that we're adding? Add new adult use? No.
Nope.
No.
Just
And
a
just
new
add that.
section.
Okay, add new section 614.4.
fixing the typo to from.
Yes.
Jim, second?
Yep.
Motion, second, all in favor? 3-0, thank you. 8, new phosphorus stormwater ordinance updated in subdivision. Section 1007.15, general requirements. All new applicants are expected to achieve the phosphorus treatment standards outlined in section 100812. Applicants that achieve greater than 60% but less than 100% of phosphorus treatment on site may be permitted, pay a fee, let's say pay a fee. Pay a fee in lieu of full phosphorus treatment. Applicants must demonstrate that the compensation fee is adequate to offset their non-compliance. The board, in its discretion, may decline or allow for a requested fee in lieu based on, among other things, watershed and lake sensitivity, and limited opportunity to implement town-led projects in public areas. Any fee in lieu of full compliance shall be determined in accordance with the Maine Department of Environmental Protection's fee rate structure, as may be amended by the MDEP from time to time. Fees collected are to be directed to a non-lapsing fund dedicated to phosphorus mitigation projects located within the same watershed as the applicant property. The board may require the use of vegetated buffers, limits on clearing, and minimizing street lengths where necessary to reduce the phosphorus loading, and shall encourage the use of other non-structural measures prior to allowing the use of high-maintenance structural measures such as infiltration systems and wet ponds. Section 100812, design standards. Excuse me, all new subdivisions subject to planning board review shall adhere to all phosphorus budget treatment standards and the best management practice standards as outlined in Volume 2 of the Maine Department of Environmental Protection's Maine Stormwater Management Manual, March 2016. The board may further require the use of vegetated buffers, limits on clearing, and minimizing street lengths where necessary to reduce phosphorus loading, and shall encourage the use of other non-structural measures prior to allowing the use of high-maintenance structural measures such as infiltration systems and wet ponds. A fee in lieu may be available for applicants that achieve certain levels of treatment as outlined in section 1007.15.
This is straight out of the lawyer's mouth.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
The only thing that has changed is after, on the 100812, after where it says March 6, 2016, we want to add the language as amended from time to time, just in case the MDEP amends it, because then we won't have to change the ordinance. So just a quick explanation on this. It sounds really onerous, and it sounds like a lot, but what it actually does is pretty much all of Naples' properties are in one watershed or another. And what this does is it allows smaller projects that don't trigger MDEP view to have the same mechanism as the larger projects do, and that is to treat only 60% and not 100%, and pay a fee in lieu of, and then that fee is used for projects within that watershed that helps with phosphorus and stormwater runoff. And it's exactly what large projects are doing now. They go to MDEP, they do this calculation, the calculation will be done exactly the same. Engineers already know how to do this with these projects. And then they will come up with the calculation based on the pounds of phosphorus being exported, a fee. And there's a cap on that fee as well. So we'll be following the same guidelines. So it's actually helping smaller developments get the same mechanisms to develop as a larger project currently does.
That's for section 1008, but section 1007 actually puts some phosphorus standards in our subdivision ordinance, because right now we really don't have anything in there.
Correct. So right now, the planning board can require the study, because there's that caveat that says that you can require any additional studies that you might need to make a decision.
Right.
But then there's nothing to do after you have the study. What do we do now?
Right.
So we're just trying to make it clear to developers what their options are. And that one is, to be honest with you, I'm a little concerned about, because it feels onerous when you read it, right? Well, now they're adding a bunch of other rules, so we'll see. But
But it's not, I mean,
It's not, it's not, it's not. That's what I.
the benefit to the developer
Yeah.
is now they know what to expect.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
otherwise, we could just keep running the,
They could do their whole project and then they could end up, the planning board says no because you can't treat all your phosphorus, and they've spent all this time and effort and they end up with a no. This helps them get to yes, using a different mechanism. It's a lot. And there's reasons why all that language is added. There's specific court cases that, the litmus tests that have to be addressed by lawyers in case they have to defend something in court. And the other thing that she did say, we tried to not have to use it in the same watershed, but it's been determined that it needs to be used within the same watershed. So that might be an example where you don't accept the fee if there's no legitimate projects that would be beneficial. However, I did ask LEA, and I asked an engineer too, but I haven't heard back from him, what types of projects this would be used for. It's a pretty broad array of projects, so I'm not as worried as I was before because there's not a lot of town roads in some of these watersheds. So, straight out of the lawyer's mouth.
So would that mean that the planning board would have to, or the planner's office would have to keep a list of projects? So that when this came up for something on Brandy Pond, we would need to know that we had something in the queue that we
Yes.
use that money for?
Yeah, so what will happen is that the developer will pay the fee will go in a specific type of revenue account that can't be used for anything else, but it's not an escrow account, so we don't have to ever give it back.
Right.
But it sits there until a project is identified, and we can use third parties like LEA or other groups to help us identify projects, but it has to be specifically used to certain criteria.
Okay.
We don't want to put that criteria in the ordinance because that criteria could change, but on the application itself, when they fill out their application to pay the fee in lieu of, there will also be a policy, and we'll probably adopt the policy separate to this. If this gets passed, then adopt a policy, and the policy will talk about what types of projects that can be used for. And that will be done by the select board. This is just kind of the framework that allows us to do this. So the applicant will come in, they'll say, I want to do 60%, and then they fill out this one-page thing that says, blah, 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 this is the fee, and they're done. At
Okay.
least when it comes to phosphorus.
I just thought I heard
Yeah.
that we needed to have a project lined up before we could
No.
collect that fee. So-
No,
And that's
we do
not
not.
like, okay,
No,
because that's
do
not what I thought we were talking about.
We can hold it, it's not
Okay.
like an escrow that has to be.
Yep, okay, that's what I thought we were talking about before,
Yeah.
is that they would pay
Yeah.
a fee that could go to anything
Anything
on the
in
list.
that watershed that meets the criteria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to pass.
I've got a motion to move, anyone from the public want to speak on this? No? Okay, motion to pass.
I'll second to.
Motion to pass and second with a little edit of 2 in there and.
Yeah, with the
whatever-
edit that
Whatever you were going to add,
Kathy
said.
Kathy, you going to add something to this?
Yes,
right?
I'm gonna add as amended
Amended
from time to
time to
time.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I meant to say that.
That's okay. So motion and second, all in favor? 3-0, thank you. Move on to 9. We're going to amend 5071 ADUs in shoreland zone. Within the shoreland zone, accessory dwelling units are allowed in the shoreland zoning, excuse me, are allowed in the shoreland zoning district for any lot located fully or partially in the shoreland zone district. Accessory dwelling units must be independently comply with all shoreland zoning requirements for a single-family residence. To establish an ADU, the lot must have twice the minimum lot area.
This is directed by the state, correct?
It is, we have to allow them in the
Make a
shoreline
motion.
zone. What we can do though, just to clarify, is we can require them to have twice the lot size, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
They're not going to have twice the shore frontage, but they're gonna have twice the lot size. But we do have to allow them, correct. And just a note, there's gonna be more to follow on all of this because we
Yeah.
have new language that's,
It's ever evolving. isn't
ever
it?
evolving, and we have till July 1, 2027 to comply. And I also was looking up some ordinance today, and it looks like there's also grant funds available to comply, pay the attorney to help us do that. So, but there will be more coming in
I
this
think we're going to
affordable
miss the
housing.
March 3rd or 4th deadline, but there's another one. I was going to provide you with an update.
Yeah, I
for the
saw that. There's
meeting.
15,000 if you do it before today.
Yeah, the advantage to the
Yeah.
later one is that it's a little looser, So the one that had the more money,
Yes.
that the deadline was earlier, was more strict, but the one with
But
a
the
little less money
less
is a
money
little
is not as
more
strict, so
open.
I'm gonna apply for the less
Yeah.
one, but it's still 10,000, which should
Yeah.
be more than enough
Yeah.
to account for the staff time
Yeah.
and the lawyer's time.
Make a motion to pass.
Any questions from the audience? Okay. Jim makes a motion to move this forward, passes.
Second?
Martina, second, all in favor? 3-0, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. 10, you're going to amend 107.1 amendments to ordinance. This ordinance, and then crossing out in the official zoning map, may only be amended by majority vote at town meeting or by referendum. The official zoning map may only be amended by a majority vote at the annual town meeting.
So moved.
So just in case anyone's wondering, so what we're doing here is because now we do tend to do ordinances by a ballot referendum
Yes.
rather than at town meeting, so we really wanted to have that in the ordinance. But also there was discussion that something as big a deal as an official zoning map needs to be discussed at an
As
actual
an
in-person
annual
town meeting.
Yeah,
That's why
so,
that's-
since I've been here, you've been doing ordinances both in May and November.
November.
So we wanted to make sure the purpose language matched that. And I think that's good to be able to do it twice a year, because once a year isn't very often.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just
This was
not.
just
Especially with all the
clerical stuff.
changes
Yes.
coming from the
That was
state, it
clerical
would really
stuff,
put us
yeah.
behind the eight ball.
Yep.
So,
Any
So moved.
questions? Okay, we have a motion to move it?
a second.
Second, all in favor? 0, thank you. And that brings us to the end. Excuse me. Move on to item 7, is public participation. Anybody have anything for the planning board? Okay. Other business? Anything, Kathy?
Nothing.
Okay, our next meeting is on the 17th of March.
Nope,
Canceled, we have nothing.
canceled. We have nothing in the queue
Nothing
right
that's
now.
ready, and nothing we've got your submittals for.
Correct.
Awesome, I made a doctor's appointment for that day, so not that it would interfere with this at all.
But if
Motion to adjourn.
it takes longer, you'll be all set then.
Well,
So
motion to
moved.
adjourn, so moved, second. All in favor, 3-0. Thank you very much, everybody.